Anthropologists, and now this is not the religious section of the show, anthropologists think that Apple has become a religion. A lot of people do like Apple products, and people will stand in line for literally hours or days in some cases to get the first new product that comes out from Apple. They said they last year they did what they put a person in a machine, an MRI, and they had them say, okay, think about your favorite computer, which was a Macintosh or an Apple or whatever. And they did the same thing with a religious person. You think about your God or your deity or whatever, and the same part of the brain apparently lit up. So if you were thinking about Apple, the right hemisphere or left hemisphere, I don't know, it was one of the hemispheres that lit up, and one section of it lit up. And if they did the same thing with the person who was thinking about a Macintosh or whatever, that part of the brain lit up. So if Apple's become a religion, I am a convert. No, I'm just kidding. I have a lot of Apple products in my house. I do not pray to my Apple products. I use them like I would use a toaster. Only thing is I just don't use toast in it. But the anthropologists think that because a lot of people have the same affinity for Apple products, it's become like a religion. Many years ago, and there used to be a site. It was called the Cult of Mac, and because anything that's small is considered to be a cult until it becomes widely accepted. Then it's a religion, and of course, I always said all religions are cults. I don't see personally. I don't see it myself. I mean, I have a lot of old computers just because I just don't want to throw anything away. I just want to keep it. But I don't sit there and pray to the damn thing because I know it's just a piece of an inanimate object, and that's it. Joe, your thoughts?
Packard. These blasphemous anthropologists need to mind their own damn business. When the prophet Jobs, peace be upon him,
peace be upon Jobs,
he delivered us from our outdated models. These know-it-all anthropologists were still trying to figure out their Zunes and wondering why their Android devices got shitty battery life. These anthropologists can't prove Steve Jobs wasn't the Messiah, therefore, logically, he is. End of story.
Jobs died and he rose 3 days later. He was the apple was rolled away, and the apple was rolled away, and Steve ascended from the heavens. It was found that Steve was not in the gigantic Macintosh.
Yeah. An apple a day keeps Satan
Steve
away.
invented the iPod in 7 days.
Yes. It says so right here on my iPad.
Designed in California, made in China. Made in 7 days by Steve Jobs.
Okay. Wayne, your thoughts?
The human brain is an interesting thing, so it's a bit wacky. So I can believe that people will use that same part of the brain that we use for religion. We put a lot of faith, and there's that faith part of the brain where we just we believe things at a gut level, and people, that they have a lot of faith in their Apple products, and they just I can see the brain, sort of lighten up.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't think it's people praying to their gadgets as much as it is that they just have this, this connection to their gadgets that sort of, goes beyond the evidence even.
They could have made, if they had an MRI back, I don't know, let's say 50 years ago, they could have said that people were praying to their cars. I mean, because there were certain cars models back then that were just like, oh, I see this Ford Fairlane, I just got to have the Ford Fairlane, and I have one. Not me, I'm just saying, if they had one or whatever, and they say, oh, and they out there and they buff it and they polish it. The problem with the test that they did was they only did between religion and the Apple products. They should have done this with people who are really like car buffs, for example, or some other kind of person like a stamp collector, I guess. I don't know.
That's a great point. Yeah.
So
like people who like comic books and
exactly,
whatever.
Exactly. If they had done that with along a wider spectrum of items, then they could have said, well, yeah, then they're praying to their comic books, they're praying to their cars, they're praying to
Spider-Man is a religion.
Yeah, Spider-Man's a religion now. Yeah, sure.
Hey, don't be getting on Spider-Man now.
I love Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong. I like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's the bomb.
Yo, Dawkins Dog in the chat room said Steve Jobs created the iPad in 6 days, and on the 7th he reset.
I read that too fast. I thought he said rested, but it's like, no, he reset. Okay, very good. Michael, your thoughts?
Well, I remember when they first brought out the computer. Actually, they had the similar story where it was like people were saying like the IC nerds were praying to computers or to new technology because it's like because over here we don't get much Apple because it's very expensive. I think it's like double what you pay over there.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And
That's
because
How are you guys going to get to heaven?
Apple heaven. Pray to the old Steve.
When the Windows first came out, there was a story about people rushing out and buying all of those, and that was kind of like first of all, it was like a religious cult sort of thing.
I can imagine. Yeah, exactly. If you get the people who are like real Windows fans, they're out there. I know I've talked to them. If they were stuck in the MRI machine, I'm sure their brain would light up on that side as well. I think
their brain would light up when you showed them the blue screen of death.
Yeah. No, I think that's where they wet their pants. Actually.